Let's see it here. Let's see some relics. We see 2 beads coming out. Understandable on the 2 gods. We got Tsunami and Persephone. Beads, beads, beads. Yep. This is almost... No way. Did he actually do it? There's not a chance that he is going to leave the fountain with that. There's not a chance that he's leaving the fountain. Did he leave the fountain yet? He left the fountain. First relic. Upgraded Sunder. What a Chad move. It's not just Sunder. He spent an extra 500 to have upgraded Sunder. I'm all for vibes to win this game now. Prove to everybody that the Sunder is the play. You have the Cerberus. You have the Breath of Fire. You have your stun. You sir will prove to everyone the power that Sunder brings. And I can't wait to see that. That is awesome. I've never had someone please me this much in my casting career.
Okay, good thing that you said casting career, because I started to question what you're saying.
Okay, well, okay, now. I don't know how to respond to how to recover from that one. So we're just going straight back into the game. Cerberus has a very nice wave clear, has a very nice amount of damage output that he can put out. Oh, he hits level 2. He uses Sunder into Flame Breath into his stun. I think it's a kill. I think it's actually almost a guaranteed kill if he were to hit the combo right here. Do they notice that he has Sunder? Right here on Danzabura. Right here on Danzabura. You have the stun? No, you're not. I really wanted him to go for it. Well, we're gonna do the normal Farmville. Seems like almost this is kind of the basic in a way that you go through one spawn of camps and then you start getting aggressive. Seems like most teams are not lax, but they just want that little bit of farm. They want level 3, level 4 before they really get too invested into any team fights here. As Danzabura starting the game off with a little bit of damage boost over here. Let's take a peek over there at the solo lane. As wow, that was a lot of damage actually coming out of. As I want to see, is this matchup favorable for Cthulhu? Because it must be. He's doing a decent enough job fighting. Neither one of them are in a risky place whenever it comes to HP, really.
They're both just poking each other.
Now that's a ballsy dash. He doesn't have it. This is going to be a kill from the Rattasker. Oh no, the stun comes in. No, Cthulhu, don't get greedy. You get back. You let your Tsunami finish that kill. There's going to be a trade over in duo lane. Is there no one going to go for it?
No way.
Is no one going to go for it? So there was a support trade over there. My man's with the upgraded Thunder used it. Must have used it on Danzabura. I don't know who he must have used it on. He must have used it on the Sobek. Sobek's a very tanky god to get killed this early, unless he's just completely out of position. But then over there in the solo, that was an interesting play out of him. As they met, as now there's another fight. Persephone's gonna rotate in over there. There might be a kill coming out on either Rattasker or Control in here. As they see Persephone, they're not gonna let her get anything crazy. She doesn't have anything planted right now, so there's only so much she can do. Tsunami, however, he's gonna peek over here. They want to bait this fight. Persephone, not a ton of mana here. She needs to be really careful. Cthulhu's gonna go ahead and try to zone out. They're gonna say, "Hey, we got what we came for." However, I don't think that they're gonna get away with it. As Thoth, he's gonna use his dash in. Tsunami has potential. He's not level 5 yet. He's not really doesn't have much online. He's actually down a level compared to Rattasker. And what a mind game coming out of both these jungles. Both these jungles looking at one another, really wanting to fight one another. But then any sign, like they're giving each other a lot more respect than they gave their previous opponents. And I can't decide if that's the film watching or if that's just saying, hey, if I give up a kill, it's gonna go downhill for me. We gotta play it smart.
I think it's a little bit of both.
A very big pluck out of something. Anher just jumped in. Anher just pogoed Danzabura into the wall and got the kill. Sobek, you gave him a free dash into your teammate. I don't think that was intentional.
That was indeed very unfortunate.
That was maybe he was dashing to like go somewhere. I don't know. There's no way that Danzabura was that low HP and was like, yeah, let's get this fight. If so, it was a completely wrong move, and I think he regrets it.
But what's done is done, and we are moving on to the other fights. Nothing super juicy happening right now on the map. No big team fights just yet, but I feel like when they will happen, it will be so action-packed.
Oh yeah, well we have so many just large ults. Tsunami's ult, Cthulhu's ult, Cerberus ult. All those ults are going to be huge game changers. Could really be the influence of the fight. We're going to see Tsunami actually getting kind of chased down here. He's going to use his ult, I think he used the ult as a way to get out. However, Ratataster's going to use his ult to get in, and he's going to go ahead and get that kill. Cthulhu, he's up in his ult. Oh wait, Cthulhu died in his ult. So there's a 3-kill swing straight on over to Yep, or 2-kill swing rather, over to Yep Vibes. And that's kind of an interesting one. They've been very careful, and that was a very specific fight. Come on over there. As now for Stephanie, we can see the amount of damage she has coming out right there. Just a scary god to play against. She's trying to stay farmed up. Down a level right now. I think that's because of the early rotations to try to give her teammates some help. As now, and her coming back, and her with a kill as well.
I mean, we are already seeing a 4-kill difference and 2k gold as well. Some differences in the levels. The F-Vibes are, for now, are a little bit dominating this map, this game. We'll see how it goes further. Mod and the Meatsacks are a very strong team and someone to count with, as we saw in the first games.
Yeah, one thing that I think we have to really acknowledge about Vibes is they do a very good job of continuously farming. They don't allow a farm to just sit out there. And not to mention, they do a very good job of taking certain team fights. They're not overly aggressive. They're not the guys that you're like, wow, these guys are just holding W on me. However, but they do a very good job of saying, hey, this is the opportunity. We're going to make sure to get this kill, and then we're going to back out. And we're going to count our blessings. So I think that's one thing that Meatsacks are going to have to figure out, is that they were very aggressive. They, like we said, they had a 20 kill lead on somebody on a team at one point, but they weren't ahead by a whole lot of gold. And her just bullying. Now, Danzabur, nice usage of his nice way to use his immunities and ways to use his movement speed there. I thought for sure that was going to be an easy kill. However, Tsunami, he's going to come in here. He understands that Anher needs to go down. Danzabur can't die though. And at the end of the day, this is going to end up being a kill on Anher, but you needed Danzabur to survive it. You needed Danzabur to do something to get himself out of danger there, just so it wasn't just a one-on-one trade, as you're not gaining that much out of it. As now we're going to see a little bit of burgling going on over here in the right jungle. A lot of burgling going on over here in the right jungle. As Persephone staying in lane, she's like, yeah, I'm not taking this 4-on-5, bro. As now,
their teammates
gonna get caught. Cthulhu coming in with a big ult. Cthulhu could do a lot of damage here now. Cerberus is gonna go down. That's just a support, so you're not super upset about him dying right now. But everyone else is gonna wisely back on up. All things considered, they did a lot of burgling of farm. I think I'd say that you're probably somewhere around even, maybe a little bit in favor of one way or the other with the Cerberus dying. Obviously, one kill is gonna be worth a little bit more than just a couple of camps. But it was interesting to see the mentality out of how kind of Meatsacks are playing. They're not really playing together like we've seen them in the past. We're seeing a lot of pinging, a lot of people trying to communicate certain things, and people probably, not, at least from my point of view, not on the same page, maybe? As now we're going to kind of returning back to that Farmville, looking at a little bit over a 2k gold lead. A little bit under a 2k gold lead, excuse me. In favor of Vibes. Nothing too crazy.
3 kills, 2k, nothing too much. Yeah, exactly as you say. If we compare it to the previous games, at this point we had a way more drastic difference between the teams. At this point, we really see that these teams both are very strong and both deserve to win. It pretty much comes down to who will have the better teamfight impact at this. I feel like.
Yeah, well, and something I think that Vibes might need to be a little careful is they're very ballsy. They go. You can see the ward placement. They push up really far in the jungle. And there's always a pick potential there about, hey, you got yourself out of position. You're not in a spot that you're going to be able to defend yourself in. But there's not any punishment that's coming out as of right now. And I think that's maybe something to be looking for as this game progresses. Maybe seeing that Cerberus push up again, saying, oh, hey, I want to put a ward out here, and you get a kill on him. Or maybe see a Ratatasker trying to do the same thing. You get a kill on just a little bit of on those overextensions into your deep jungle. That probably shouldn't be happening. Now, there's a very big rotation coming over here. Danzabura apparently doesn't notice that the whole lobby is about to be coming over for him.
Oh,
and maybe they don't see the Thoth and the Ratatasker. They think it's just a support. Now it's a 3v4. I don't see this going in your favor. Ratataster's going to get up on his ult. That's going to be a kill. Danzabura's going to go down. Sobek's going to try to get the kill over here. Sobek just dipped out. He could have tried to kill the Ratatasker. I think he's going to die either way. Actually, never mind. I'll bite my I spoke too soon again. As he's going to get out, Persephone has herself in a really poor position. She late rotated over, and it's not going to pay off for her. And Ratatasker's going to stay alive. And that is a brutal team fight to lose right there, as there really isn't much reason to lose that. There's a little bit of a late rotation from mid. You're a little bit not covered by wards. I mean, that's really what it breaks down to, is you think that it's just a support that's rotating over. In reality, they have two people sitting in the jungle waiting for you to make a mistake.
I mean, it was pretty much a 4 versus 5. It was way harder for Modern and Meatsacks to win this team fight.
As now, looking at the goal differences, we're not seeing anything crazy as of right now. Thoth with 1 level. Tsunami, you're in a bad position here, my friend. You might be able to get a second kill, but you better make sure you get this. As now, I don't know if giving another kill to Ratatasker is really worth anything. But he did clean up a double kill. That's his first 2 kills of the game, actually. So maybe it's a little bit of a confidence boost. As Danzabura on the other side getting a kill under tower. Rather abnormal, not what you would think you would see from a Danzabura that's struggling this much. Maybe Anher is a little bit low already. As now, looking at the gold level differences, Ratatasker up 2 levels. Mid laner is pretty even. Sport's pretty even. And Anher with a 2-level lead. However, Danzabura is going to work against that as Anher not able to farm here for a little bit short period of time.
We are seeing Modern and Meatsacks kind of coming up and like following the steps of the F5s, getting those kills one by one, slowly getting back in the game. Will that be enough? We'll just have to see.
Yeah, there's so much mind games going on between them, with how they're positioning, with how they're setting ganks up. There's just so many mind games that both these teams are playing on one another. It's just depending on how they engage, who engages poorly. And now it looks like Cthulhu over here starting to do a little bit of fighting. Thoth rotating over it. And it seems like Meatsacks are going to say, hey, there's a lot of objectives over there, but they're not going to give them the respect. Maybe they think that without Anher, they can't clear it efficiently. As now, Tsunami coming in with another gank over there on Anher. Anher pretty healthy right now. I don't know if we used an ult. He's using an ult now. And let's see, did both of them use ult there? Yes, both used ult in order to kill him. And this is kind of a good play out of Tsunami. He says, hey, my ADC is kind of behind. He's been having a little bit of gank troubles. He's been trying to get himself back in the game. Tsunami keeping his ADC viable right now, keeping him in the game. Now, this is where I kind of was more worried about, is both mages, both mid laners are doing a lot of rotation. Honestly, at this point, I think if Persephone just stays in her lane, says, hey, don't take this fight, back on out, let me farm, she could start gaining a little bit of lead, because she was down to Thoth by roughly a level, a little bit under a level. And now they're starting to kind of turn this whole thing back around, and I think that the mid laner that focuses on farming will have a better impact here in the mid game, as the supports are even starting to catch back up in the grand scheme of things. As now, Cerberus in a bit of a sticky situation. He's going to go down here shortly. Don't know if the ult was worth on that one. Cthulhu, however, he's going to say, hey, you're stuck with me. I'm going to go ahead and use a lot of damage. However, he's low on HP. Ratatasker going to use his ult. Not going to finish him off. However, Anher will. Tsunami with a nice engage onto Anher. Anher in a really ballsy situation here. He needs to just turn around and run. Sobek's going to clean up that kill. Now everybody should start backing up to Tsunami. Again, just standing in the fight when he doesn't really need to. It's going to get himself in a bad situation. That was a 3-for-2 in favor of the Meatsacks. So another engagement that goes in their favor, and gold's almost evened up. I think it's maybe like a 10 gold lead in favor of the Meatsacks, looking at how they're the values are changing.
Very interesting how the game is slowly turning around. And I wonder if they will be able to, if Jmacs will be able to get back the lead, the stronger lead that they do have now, or is modern Meatsacks taking over?
It's hard to say. I think that I think we're going to see this go back and forth throughout the game. Modern the Meatsacks going to claim that gold fury. However, they're in a rough spot here if they're not careful. As Danzabura, going to go ahead and get himself out of there with an ult. Don't ever want to use an ult like that to get out. However, I do think that was the wise choice, as I don't believe he was getting himself in any better situation.
I mean, it's good to have escape routes if you're not completely convinced.
Well, especially after a gold fury into a kill, you don't want to. That's how you start trading more wisely. You say, okay, I'm going to use my ult to survive. Then they don't give it anything. They just pushed me off. They made me use my ult to get out instead of me giving up a kill. One gives a lot of golden experience, the other doesn't. At the end of the day, very wise moves.
If we compare the teams again, we are seeing decreased difference in the kills and in the gold. The gold has increased a bit again, but we do see a stronger difference within the towers.
Yes, a lot more focus has been on towers thus far this game. We see 2 towers down in favor of Jmacs, but they're down in gold. Mod and the Meatsacks must be doing a fantastic job of just outright farming to be down in kills, down in towers, and up in gold. You don't really see that every day. As soon as they start getting towers down, Mod and the Meatsacks will have a pretty good gold lead. Saying that the vibes will allow them to get that far.
Exactly what I wanted to mention, if that's going to happen.
I would say Vibes definitely not a team to be slouching on. They're not going to be giving anything up too easily. And it seems like Vibes, they said, hey, we're lower, we're not doing great on farming, so they've been focusing on farming again as well. On the Meatsacks, still have a pretty impressive lead for their position.
Feel like there's another team fighting coming very soon.
I think so too. If the Cthulhu sees this Pyromancer going down, he's got to try to snipe it away. A sniper on this Pyromancer would be aggressive. However, Thoth's going to invest that ult. He's going to invest the secure for it. And that's going to kind of even, not quite even everything back up, but it's going to get you there. However, that also means Danzabura has a free route to this tower. He's going to say, hey, I want this tower. They got the Pyro, we'll get a tower. Doesn't trade quite evenly, but it trades enough. There's now a nice little fight developing here. As we have Tsunami. Tsunami just got absolutely melted off the face of the earth by Ratatasker as Persephone cleans up one. It's 1 for 1. Ratatasker's up in the goal. Persephone, you should be getting out of dodge right now. This is not the situation you want to be in. As now, we have a lot of ults being invested. Danzabura trying to be stealthy here, trying to clean up some kills. Controlling, getting a little bit more damage than I would have thought a mid-solo laner should be. Ratatasker somehow squeezing his way out. And this fight, though, is 1 for 1 right now. I think it's kind of going in favor of Mod and Meatsacks. Sobek with a nice pluck, but what a bead pop out of Anher. As they don't know what Danzabura is right here. Hello, get the kill, the cleanup. And now that is quite the team fight thus far out of Mod and the Meatsacks. I've now seen how they see this composition working with the Cthulhu. The Cthulhu is the big body that distracts everyone while everyone else runs around him and creates a bunch of chaos. What a fight. That was an impressive engagement out of Mod and the Meatsacks, pushing just over 3k, just a little bit over 3k right now in gold lead after getting those 2 towers and then getting a couple kills.
Very interesting, yeah, and they're still behind 1 kill, but with everything else that they've been doing, they have the advantage in the gold, which might make all the difference right now.
Yeah, it's hard to say what the best move here. I think that if you're on the side of Vibes, you got to kind of return to your playstyle. I think Meatsacks they made him nervous. They were playing really conservative. Both teams were saying, hey, you know, let's not take this fight. We saw a lot of fights that didn't end with any kills. And I think maybe Meatsacks has just got Vibes to the point that now they're antsy. They're over-investing. They're overextending for things that they don't necessarily need to be going after. They're getting them out of their own play style. I think that's maybe why we see that they're not focused on farm as much like we've seen in the previous series. As now, A little bit of a battle. They're going to literally challenge each other over any neutral farm available. They're saying, hey, these are just experience and a little bit of a ward. Yeah, we're going to fight you over it. We don't want you to have that. And I believe that the Harpies got split 1-1. That means there's no vision. So you're going to have to put a ward there in order to know how the Primal Fury is going to work out. As it seems like Mod and the Meatsacks said, hey, we want this Gold Fury. I don't care if they know we're here. I don't care if they're gonna be here. We want to get this objective. We have this gold lead. I want to keep it. As a lot of invested there, maybe the time to go re-engage. You know, cooldowns are down right now. A little bit of a mind game here. Everyone's looking at each other. Thoth keeping his safe distance. He doesn't want to get picked. As if the Gold Fury does get pulled, he is the secure that they're going to need to get that job done. Thoth has his ult up, so you almost wonder if they're trying to bait the Thoth ult to try to get a kill here to try to go ahead and pull it. As and her ult coming out, Thoth ult coming out as well. There's the 2 hits, and now this is all up in the air. Persephone's down. Sobek's not very healthy. He needs to get himself out of dodge. Now there's gonna be 2 kills going back the other way. Their Cerberus isn't gonna be looking too hot. However, Anher still back there with a healthy enough and still putting out some damage. Cerberus literally a sneeze away from death. If Cthulhu could sneeze on him right now, he would be dead.
And
that's exactly what's going to happen. Now it's 2v3. However, Anher, I wouldn't doubt him. He does a lot of damage. He's not one to mess with. Now, is Anher going to turn around on this tsunami? He is. Is he going to get the kill on Cthulhu before it happens? No. Anher going to do with a nice jump, but then Cthulhu going to be with a nice dash back into him. Now it's a 1v2. There is no way you're actually trying to back there, my friend. Nice jump over the Sobek pluck and maybe not. However, Persephone's coming. Cthulhu's going to be chasing him down. He doesn't want to give it up. And I believe that had ultimately ended with 1 kill in favor of Modded and the Meatsacks. Now that we're tied up in kills, if I remember correctly.
That is indeed correct.
And the gold difference still hovering around 2,200, I think. Not a ton, but enough. As these team fights are getting more and more interesting to watch every time they come in together. As now, Mod and the Meatsacks said, hey, we had a nice little team fight here. I want to come back and get this Gold Fury. And they got Persephone and Danzabura over here, so I think that that's going to be a viable option. However, Thoth, he doesn't have his ult up, does he? He does have his ult, but he missed the Primal Fury, and it's going to go down. And Mod and the Meatsacks, he was just a little bit too far away. He didn't want him to know that he was going to try to snipe it. And he was just a little off to the left. That's unfortunate because now that ult's going to be down for another at least 40 seconds, 45 seconds. As Cerberus kind of eating a lot of stuff to the face. They're using a lot of ults on him. And I don't know if it's really worth, because if you have some people rotate in now, however, no one's in position to rotate. Those ults are going to be used and probably back up before the next team fight is now. Mod and the Meatsacks said, hey, time for the Primal Fury. I want this. No, they're going straight for the Fire Giant. They say, hey, we got 1 guy down. We don't care. They don't have vision. We're going to go ahead and get this down. And either Vibes don't know what's going on, or Vibes just didn't care that they were getting it. And I'm going to have to go on the idea that Vibes didn't want to take that team fight, is they're going to go ahead and clear up a bunch of farm that they wouldn't have normally gotten. They're going to get a mid tower. Not going to be the trade that they want, but it's going to work out in the long run. About a 5k gold difference now in favor of Mod and the Meatsacks.
How the tables have turned.
Yes, honestly, I gotta say, it's gotta be the Cthulhu for me. The Cthulhu though isn't doing the damage, he is causing so much panic, so much confusion whenever he's in a fight right now. He allows the rest of his team to do what they need. Now they're gonna try to siege this Phoenix. This might be a bit of an overextension. There's a little brave. Cthulhu's gonna go up. Cerberus is gonna go down again. Cerberus cannot die anymore, as he is going to be starved of experience, farm, and everything else. As Danzabur's gonna ult in to Thoth and get the kill. Ratataster's not looking very hot. Cthulhu's coming down out of his ult, but there is a 3 kills to none. 4 kills to none. This is gonna be a pinch. There is a DSI, there's a Phoenix, and if I had to guess, they probably have enough to just go ahead and end this game. As Danzabura apparently didn't get the message that there's still a Phoenix up, buddy. You gotta kill that one first, and then you can kill the other one. As I think Mod and the Meatsacks, with quite the turnaround, quite the composition to really pull this game into their grasp right now. As that Titan, 2 Phoenixes, 2 towers, still gonna go ahead and get melted. very, very nice game overall. Both teams played a very solid game. Mod and Meatsacks just started that snowball rolling down the hill, and they turned it into an avalanche to finish that game. As we look on the other side, and we see Sobek, pretty basic build. You can build Sobek to be a little bit more aggressive. I just don't think it's ever that beneficial in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
As Ravana has no pots. Ravana must be really invested in trying to get boots online as quick as possible. And with that, I bet you money he's going to get enough to get boots 3 or to finish boots. And we're going to see a gank at either duo or solo lane very early on. Kind of a timing that most laners wouldn't have anticipated of it because of how he's building. Because he said, hey, I don't need pots. I'm just going to get enough to get boots. And then we'll move on from there. So I think that we're going to see some very early aggression coming from that Ravana pick here. As everyone pretty normal start. Actually, I believe it's mod in the Meatsacks that do the typical, that have the solo laner start at this mana buff, and then the jungle actually just gets all that solo farm. Still very interesting. I'm not sure. I don't know. What level? So Guan Yu's level 2. Is Controlling level 2? Controlling is level 2. However, he's gonna miss out on a wave. So I think that maybe this strategy gets him a little bit ahead. I wouldn't say it gets him super far ahead though. It's just kind of an interesting play style for a team to go through, I suppose. As Controlling, I'm not really going. I would have thought that maybe going for a little bit of poke damage once he evolved was the play. Maybe use his push to put Guan Yu into the tower, but he decided not to. He decided to just hit the wave. Interesting decision making out of there. As now, like I said, Tara struggles a little bit until she can really get her wave clear online here. Honestly, a very nice wave clear out of the both of them. Sobek really not using his abilities for some reason. Maybe just trying to avoid getting any kind of major poke damage onto him.
Feeling a little bit scared.
What are you scared for?
No, not me, Sobek.
Oh, I was gonna say, you know, it's like you saw the Terra use her ability. She can't stun anymore. Why not go up there and get your damage off? But
let's imagine they had their reasons. And I just forgot.
Yeah. Pele, pretty deep. I think she just burgled a little bit of farm back there that Ravana probably will notice later on here, but he's got to be approaching that point where he can go ahead and get full boots. As they frantically are kind of looking for farm to get done here. I think there's definitely an interesting jungle setup that's going on right now. I'm not sure what it is about it or what the purpose of it's going to be, but there's something interesting. As I believe Apollo must have just barely missed his ability there. Might have been able to get an early kill onto Jing Wei. As Tara, now that she's level 3, is going to have a lot more freedom. She's going to be able to use her full kit to kind of cause a lot of chaos over there. As now, Ravana's still not backing yet. I wonder what he's saving all that gold for. He had to have saved some gold by not buying boots. He didn't buy upgraded anything, so he should have quite a good pocket right now, but not electing to just continue to farm and not back yet. A little bit of aggression out of everybody, but not a lot of aggression. As Ravana blinks in, he's right on top of somebody. He's getting some shots off onto Pele, but nothing too crazy there. As I believe, was that blink or was it his ult? That was his blink to go in.
Still no kills and no teamfights. Just some poking here and there. Very peaceful start from both teams.
It's kind of similar to how we saw last game too. You know, last game it seemed like they wanted to do a little bit of fighting, but if there's any sort of like, oh, I'm not comfortable with how this fight might go, it was get out and out. As I don't know if this is the bait of the century, and Terry uses her obelisk in an improper way. She popped it too early. Now Apollo's gonna get popped in. Sobek, you just killed your ADC.
Oh boy.
I understand why Sobek decided to do that, because he's going to pop him in the tower. However, I don't think it's going to work out. How? Ravana in a lot of danger now. Nice use of an immunity, but he's not going to get himself out in time. Terra now kind of in trouble, but no one's really focused on killing the Terra, which who really cares about killing the support at this level right now, as everyone's going to get on back. Sobek, we've seen 2 games in a row now where we see Sobek block somebody into danger. And now we have an Apollo coming back in. He's going to get the cleanup on Sobek. And that is why Apollo ult is so dangerous, as you don't see it coming until you hear the sound. And then once you hear the sound, you're probably dead. Because now Apollo...
Two already.
So it went from nothing going on to everything all at the same time. Is now Chang'e. Nice use of the immunity frame. I think Apollo might have been able to get a couple more autos off there, but decided against it. Chang'e really
better safe than sorry.
Really brave staying this far up. However, I guess no one's really going to push in right now. I would be really afraid of a Ravana ulting in and then a couple of abilities coming down, but with how this game goes, it seems like there's only aggression at certain times, and it's not that time right now. I say that. Ravana? I think Ravana just yoinked the attack speed buff. Yes, he did. Ravana goes in and steals the buff. That's going to put Jingwei a little bit at a disadvantage. As now, it looks like 2v3 building up over there as we are solo laners doing their typical flexing on one another. Ravana with a nice blink on the Jingwei. Jingwei might be going down. Guan Yu might be going down. Controller's going to be stunned. This is going to be a close fight on both sides of it. Jingwei is going to get out. Apollo trying to get some damage done. Not quite getting there. A 2v3 over there in duo lane. I'm going to go ahead and say that's kind of a loss for Mod and Meatsacks. They were the 3. I would have thought there was an easy kill there. But no kills happen. Everyone backs out. Everyone says, hey, we got a little bit too invested. We're not going to be fighting that anymore. Is Terra do some sneaky stuff? I like support ganks. I really do. It makes the supports actually have... What? As a stun from Terra. That should be a kill. But Kucholin didn't follow up with him. Kucholin, he had the stun. Just go.
Just do it.
That's a brutal. I believe that is 2 times now. The Terra's actually had a perfect setup, but the teammates weren't following up. And there's going to be a kill that runs away. We're staying at 2-2. Not much gold difference. Couple hundred in one way or the other, but nothing too crazy right now. Definitely a much tighter game so far. Level differences are pretty non-existent. Apollo slightly ahead, but as you'd expect from Apollo. As Jingwei uses a lot of her wave clear, probably not very wise to use it that way, but
I mean, we're in the minute 7 and we have had what, 2 tiny fights?
2 pretty tiny fights. We've had quite a few engagements, but just everyone backs on out of it. No one really wants to do it. Over here, we saw Ravana steal away that attack speed buff the last spawn, so now they had a 4-man rotation to ensure that their Jingwei got it. And I do believe there is an error on the screen right now. Modded Meatsacks actually won game 1, not yep vibes. So just a heads up on there that is an incorrect score line, that it is in fact in favor of Modded Meatsacks currently. As Apollo diving the tier 2 to go ahead and get himself a kill. That's gonna be getting himself start off 3-1, level 9. Still has a level lead over Jingwei. He's gonna be probably getting a 2-level lead here pretty shortly.
I mean, he is only 1 in his whole team with any kind of kills.
He is actually the only one that has finished one at this point in time. Yeah, so you almost wonder if maybe they should be focusing on other lanes here, just telling Jing, hey, stay in the back, clear the wave, don't get too crazy. And then start maybe focusing over there on the solo lane, maybe trying to focus on middle lane as well. But everyone's rather tanky on the side of Mods and Meatsacks. Everyone's got a little bit more sustainability than your average composition. As we see a little bit of a struggle whenever it comes in the damage compartment coming out of Morgan. Morgan with her 1 does a substantial amount of damage into a stun. You would think that maybe she'd be a little bit more invested, maybe a little bit more poke damage out right now, but not quite yet. As Chang'e and Pele both playing a pretty minimal role when it comes to team fights, looking at the damage they've done. They're gonna go.
Fight coming in?
No, they're just trying to burgle. That's all they were trying to do there. Just wanted to say, hey, I want to see if I can steal that red buff to put you at a little disadvantage, but Nothing too crazy right now.
Yeah, they're like, hey, what's up? What you think there? Nothing? Okay, we go.
As Yep Vibes actually was about 1,000 gold lead, roughly. Just a little bit over, I think. And that's kind of just purely from farming. They obviously have one extra kill, but with how this game's going, how last game's going, this is a lot of back and forth of who's getting kills, who's clearing their jungle. I mean, look at that map. There is one camp that is currently alive on the entire map, other than the Scorpion, of course, that fire giant. But ooh, Apollo might be getting himself in a little bit of trouble here. He's on a 2v1. Oh, Morgan's transformed into Apollo as well, and she's going to be coming in. We're going to see that nice secure onto Pele. And now we see another roll. Apollo, well, this has got to be annoying. They can't get away from Apollo. And now Sobek, I don't think that you're getting out of here alive, my friend. As maybe they just go ahead and back on off him.
Like he might.
Four-man rotation over to duo lane. There's just not a lot of people responding. I feel as if you almost need your Chang'e to do so. You need her to rotate. I understand the importance of getting that farm, but right now, letting your ADC get dropped further behind might be more of a hindrance than you losing a little bit of farm there. As now, kills coming up to 5-2 in favor of Yep Vibes. Looking pretty close to a 2,000 gold lead. I think just a hair under. As now, Yep Vibes going to go ahead and clean up that Scorpion. Oh, Guan Yu hears that he might go try to burgle this. Just a hair early. Let's see which way they go. And they went in favor of Yep Vibes. So Yep Vibes going ahead and securing that guy up. Juan, very ballsy blink. Try to finish off that Ravana. Just not enough to get it done, though. Pretty free totem if you'd like to get that. However, he's not done fighting. He's like, hey, you guys are going for something that I might want. And what he was wanting there was actually the buffed mana buff, if he could. However, Guan Yu's gonna leave Pele. Pele kind of left out to dry in a way. Not really the synergy that we saw out of Meatsacks in previous games.
Maybe they're just not there yet. Remember the previous game? For most of the game, we thought that
Meatsacks was playing a little. Yeah, that is very true. Both teams have the potential to kind of get things going here. As Kucholin's gonna go, they're gonna dive this Guan Yu. Guan doesn't have his ult back up just yet. I think he might be in the middle of a rock and a hard place. And actually, I said he does have his ult back, but it doesn't seem like he's gonna need it as he approaches just a little over half HP. Oh, they're gonna full dive on him. Ravana misses the ult. Guan popping the stun. I'm not sure if the stun pop that early was worth. However, it's going to scare them enough to back them on out of this tower. I would have thought maybe this play would be just to get on out of dodge, get back into your tier 2, maybe just save your life, but decided against it, I guess. As now, Ravana's going to go back in. Juan with a nice little dodge here. Pele's going to come in. He's going to help. Nice engagement. She didn't pop it up in time, though, so Ravana's not going to be able to get anywhere. Ravana, Pele should be able to clean both of these guys up. However, she can't quite reach the Ravana like she would like. And that's just going to be a kill in favor of Yep Vibes. It was a good rotation from Pele. Just a half a second too late in order to get the save and maybe even to get the kill.
Yeah, that is true. It seemed like just a little bit sooner if she would came on the line, things might have been turned around completely differently.
Yeah, and as we start seeing this damage graph change more and more, we need to see Jing kind of needs some help over here. We need to see Pele maybe come over and help Apollo out. Maybe a full rotation, maybe a Pele, Chang'e, and Sobek rotation to try to get this Apollo off this lead that he has. We also need Chang'e just to do a little bit more. She's doing a lot of farming, but the issue is she's doing a lot of farming while getting out farmed by a Morgan. And Morgan's been in these team fights that have been so substantial and been kind of going in the way of Yep Vibes. As now level differences still not super substantial. Chang'e's down by 1, but not super crazy. Terra up 2 levels over Sobek. And we see a 2-level lead over Jingwei as well. Starting to see kind of that the difference maybe coming from the duo lane here.
Difference may not be huge, but it's still there, and it might have a really important effect.
As they're doing this, they're fighting it. There's gonna be a full rotation out of Meatsacks right now is, wait, there's a lot of things getting missed here. Chang'e not in a great spot as Control's absolutely melting her. Apollo's gonna come in. That should be a dead Sobek here momentarily. Chang'e coming in. She sends in her ult. She's not gonna get enough done. Pele coming in. Not enough damage is getting put out. And that is a D, nope, not quite a deicide. Jingwei still over in duo. And I think that's gonna be a fire giant. The game's not quite over yet, but I do think that Yet Vibes might have just the better composition right now. They might just have enough to get past what is this composition that they're facing against Meatsacks. They just didn't have enough damage there. It didn't seem like they had enough damage to get a single kill or to finish anything there, and the damage charts are starting to kind of prove that as well.
It does seem like Vibes might take over this game completely, not just as it seemed at the beginning, but they do have a better synergy, and it feels like a better rotation system worked out.
As they're going to go ahead and they're going to get Fire Giant, they're going to get Pyromancer, and then they're going to knock 2 towers down. That's going to push their lead up substantially. And I believe that probably the plan now is to go try to get yourself set up for Primal. As it seems, I believe that is a Ravana that dropped a ward real quick over there to let his team know. And that is exactly what's about to happen. Everyone's leaning over that direction. Everyone's like, all right, let's keep this ball rolling. We're going to keep trying to stack up our lead here. As everything spawned, we're going to see some wards get dropped, and then we're going to see an engagement on it probably. Is there any good secure from Meatsacks? Not really. There's not much that they could do about this, even if they knew it was going on. And that's going to be a dead Primal Fury. Terra doing a good job of just playing distraction. Is Jingwei doing pretty much everything she can to cause the issue, just be pushing waves, farming, getting towers down. Not doing the damage she needs necessarily in the team fights, but at least keeping some kind of gold income that's better than what they're doing now. As now we're approaching about a 7k gold lead. I think a little bit over 7k.
That is indeed correct, and it's really hard to, like, I wouldn't even want to say that Yet Vibes has pretty much won this game, because I feel like Mod and Meatsacks can do it.
Well, the thing is, so this Jingwei has been doing what was very infuriating in public matches. She is focused on farming. She is focused on getting towers down. And though she hasn't been in team fights very much, she is trying to get herself set up to the point where she can put out some damage. And the main issue we've seen is there's just not enough damage going out. So it could be that once she hits her power spike, once she's to the point where like, hey, yeah, I can take a team fight, I can get in on something, that maybe she'd be able to be the turning factor for them. Maybe that's all they need. However, they are losing by a pretty substantial gold lead. So it might be that she's farming for something that will never come to fruition. But we'll have to see. There hasn't been a full 5-on-5 team fight just yet. And I won't call it until after I see that.
And you know that 1 or 2 good team fights can completely turn the game around.
Without a doubt, is they're going to go ahead and siege this tower. It seems like they're kind of preparing to maybe go in on something. No one really pushed up, though. I thought maybe to go in and try to maybe attack, get a pick here. But they said, nope, you have Fire Giant buff. I'm not going to mess with you. You can take the tower. That's fine.
I feel like they took the smarter step to take a step back and prepare for the next team fight.
Most definitely. As Yet Vibes, they're going to use this Fire Giant to the best of their ability. They're going to try to get all these towers down. They don't want to have anything else coming up, as everyone's going to back and get ready for a siege on a Phoenix. In fact, they're not really ready for it right now, as now they're going to get in position, but they definitely don't have the posture they need, the positioning they need to get it off. But Vibes the signature Vibes move. They say, hey, I don't care. You're going to be there. You're going to defend it very hard. We'll let you have it. No worries. We're going to back up here. We're going to steal all the farm in this jungle, and then we'll take the left tower.
That is indeed something we have seen in the game multiple times.
Vibes kind of has a really good idea. Like, hey, you're there. Okay, that's fine. We're going to back up. We're going to do our own thing real quick. We're ahead. We're out farming you. We're out killing you. So we're okay. We can play that game as well.
Yeah, we have nowhere to rush.
Yeah. Fire Giant buff now no longer a factor. However, that's not going to stop Apollo from trying to go ahead and get this tower down.
It is taking them substantially longer time to get the tower down.
Yes, it will. Now, it seems like, again, Meatsacks doing what they can. They're trying to get as much farm as they can, back up, purchase little things that might be the little bit of difference for them. But eventually, you're going to have to start setting up for a team fight. You got to start getting some wards out on the map. You got to start getting some sight on some objectives. Because Fire Giant is going to be the next thing that comes up for everybody. And that will be the game changer. I think that one more Fire Giant kill will be, for Yep Vibes, ends the game almost immediately. If Meatsacks can take a good fight there, that will be the first step into kind of turning this game around. As we're going to slow it down.
No action at the moment on the map. We're in our 20th minute. We have 8 kill difference, 11k, 10k difference in gold, some difference in levels, which is with some lanes even quite an impressive one. 2 levels, 2 levels, 2 levels, 4 levels for support.
That is going to start being noticeable right there. Whenever your support's that far down, he's not going to be able to eat the damage you'd like. And as I said before, I think that I think that if you give up one more Fire Giant, that you're going to be kind of out of luck. Yeah. You're going to be really struggling. And I think that they have enough now with the level lead, the gold lead that they just added on to. I think that this should be a Phoenix Siege into some team kill, into a couple kills, and into an ending game. I don't see Meatsacks being able to hold this off very efficiently. I mean, it's what, over 10k now with Fire Giant, gold lead, level lead. It's just, things are starting to add up too much for this to be able to pause, for it to be reasonable. As now, Tara's going to go ahead and say they want more of a gold lead, I guess. I don't know why. I don't think the gold fury is necessarily the thing that you absolutely have to need in order to finish the game. But hey, if you want to have a really big numbers, might as well get it.
I mean, I feel like they have now the mentality of, if we can do it, let's just do it.
Well, it does make it to where, let's say they do lose this siege. You lose a couple people, you don't get the Phoenix down, you have to retreat. It doesn't allow Meatsacks to have it. Kind of more, not as much as they need it for themselves, but they're saying, hey, if something does go wrong, they can't get it either, and that's even better. As now this siege is starting to set up. Morgan kind of thought they maybe saw Pele coming over, but she's deciding wisely to back on out of there. Meatsacks a little bit better position to try to defend this time. Last time they were caught a little bit flat-footed, almost lost to Phoenix. As now they're starting to peek in here. Apollo getting some shots off on the Phoenix. You need to get some damage off on him. You can't just let him get those free shots. You shouldn't be super concerned of the Terra in control, and you should be concerned of the Apollo that's absolutely decimating. I say that Terra's gonna blink in, pop an ult on everybody. Apollo's gonna get the tower down. Apollo's ulting? Apollo's gonna ult. He doesn't want anyone to get back into the tower, and they're gonna clean up a few kills, and I think this is just gonna be game over. Fire Giant buff, 5 buff. Pele's gonna go in and do the noble effort and try to get Morgan off the map, but I just don't think it's gonna be enough, as Terra's little bit of sustainability, and that is going to be a game 3. Again, the map, the score line does not show the accurate one. It was Meatsacks who won the previous game, so we will be going into a game 3. And let me just say, the damage chart is substantial. Yes, controlling, doing a little bit of claps, ready for the game to start.
He's dancing. They do be vibing though. As are we and all the viewers. I think this game is going to be the most interesting of the day. Both teams are very strong, and they have proved it during the whole tournament.
100%.
Go either way.
Yep, 100%. You see this different opener, and I can't decide if it's actually a substantial difference in the opener for him. There's how many troops did he miss out on here? He's going to miss out on 2 troops total. But he also got all that jungle camp experience. So they must come out somewhat even. I'm not sure what the decision to say, hey, I want to keep this the same as Yamoja with a very nice stun there. Yamoja being a ranged support makes a little bit of different laning phase for her, especially against the Ymir Chernobog. There's a lot of brawling going on early here. A little bit of something to note. We don't see the third blink anymore. We actually have Ymir building boost, which is a lot different, especially with building blink on Terra, but then not building blink on Ymir. Kind of an interesting way to attack it, I guess would be the way to say it. An interesting change in game style.
Also, it's very awesome to see some more new gods coming into the play, because there was at some point I felt like we have specific pool of characters that people choose from, but with the last 2 games, when most of the comps were completely changed and adapt, that's amazing.
Yeah, 100. It's been very interesting series. Definitely can tell these guys have picks other than what's the current flavor of the game, you could say. As we see Ymir, a lot of aggression now, pushing some people back. Not too much here. Maybe a brave decision to go for that guy whenever they did, but they're going to end up getting it. A little bit of experience boost.
Some poking here or there, no kills yet. Gold difference is almost non-existent. It's like 30, 50 gold at this point, and it changes every single second. So both teams are starting strong, yet calm. So
and actually we see this Ratatasker. He's doing his early rotation over here. He does it every single time. He knows that mana buff's going on. He's going to be told, hey, dude, he's coming. However, there's a 2-man rotation coming from mid lane too. That's going to be really brutal. Ratatasker's going to be in trouble. Ratatasker's going to fall. And this might be the beginning of the end. I said that Ratatasker, I picked this team composition because of how Rat can play. I picked it because Ratatasker can make people get so far ahead. It's insane. However, giving up that kill right there, that might be to get all they need. It might be all Meatsacks needs in order to kind of seal this game up and get the lead that they need.
Well, the deal is not sealed yet. That was just 1 kill or 1 death from Ratatasker. We know how can he dominate the game. We've seen this specific Ratatasker from player Davies finish 2 games in a row with 7 kills and 0 deaths.
That is very true. As now, there's a little bit of aggression. Very nice rotation out of the mid laner and jungle coming from Meatsacks to kind of say, hey, something's going on here. We haven't seen Rats anywhere else. Knowing like, hey, the mana buff's going to be coming up soon. Just kind of catching them in the act and then doing enough to get the kill. And basically, I don't know how they avoided all the damage. Rat must have used all of his kit to try to drop the mana buff and was caught with his pants down because no one on Meatsacks was even remotely close to dead.
We're still not seeing too much action, but Ratatasker is being pushed in his jungle, and
yeah, looks like Yamoja and Nike are both kind of going all in on Rat right now. Rat's gonna go ahead and use his ult to get away. Not the way you'd like to see him use it, but at the end of the day, if you're gonna die, you might as well get out of dodge and not stay safe, not give up that experience. Keep the gold, any kind of gold lead that might be developing to a minimum. As Controlling and Sun Wu doing their typical gumming each other to death. As Controlling with a little bit more damage output. What is Ratatasker doing? Ratatasker in a dangerous HP level here. He might be really careful. As Sun Wu, he catches him out, but no, not quite fast enough to catch him in the act. And that could have been a really greedy play by Ratatasker to not just go ahead and back and get full HP. If Sun Wu actually catches him there, that is a very brutal way to go further behind. As it looks like over in duo lane, Yamoja doing her own thing. She's rotating out. She's trying to get other things done. Meanwhile, Ymir's staying in lane. Kind of an interesting play. Typically, if you see one support get out, you want the other support to get out as well. But not today. There's a Ratatasker up in his ult. Actually, no, that's Morgan that's up as a Ratatasker. She's going to come down. She's going to get the kill. Chernobog's gonna go up and do his ult. He's gonna sit up there until he finds a safe place. He might jump over here to Sun Wukong and see if maybe he can get something going on, but no, he's gonna drop back down. There's a nice little team fight going on here. Ymir wall, that's gonna be brutal. Nike, not quite enough damage. However, she's gonna do enough to get the kill. However, there's 2 people that are low. Apollo and Umoja. There's no reason to stay pushed up. You better just get back. And Rat's gonna get that double kill. That's exactly what the Rat needed to get in. I don't think dying here is a terrible plan because he got the double kill. He's gonna get himself jump started now, and that's a big mistake out of Apollo and Umoja. You had the kill advantages. You were the only two that were low. You might as well get out. Might as well back up, get your HP back. Instead, they stayed pushed up to try to see if maybe they can help out on some more kills, and Ratatasker punishes them.
Very intense fight right there. It could have gone either way, and as you were just explaining, the fact that those two very low players stayed close caused them.
Yeah, I mean, it would be the difference between being up 4-2 and being up 4-0. I mean, that's got to be at least another 500 gold difference. And it's in a situation where it seems like Mod and Meatsacks have always been started off down to Yep vibes. I think that you take whatever advantage you can get and really just kind of play off of it. You don't let them come back. You don't let them make anything weird happen. As Sunwoo might be getting caught out here over here in the solo. Ratatasker setting himself up. Ratatasker only looking at level 7 right now.
He is a little bit behind, but he did just get a double kill, so things might change and he might get back and get those kills.
Yep, as solo, now that Ymir's rotated on out, he's doing a good job of keeping Rajin fed. Apollo might be looking to try to do the Scorpion, might be looking to try to defend the Scorpion as it looks like everyone's moving this way. As nope, it's going to be a battle over the Gold Fury Harpies. I believe that went in favor of Yep vibes.
Even with the 2 kill difference, there's not much gold difference. Game is going pretty steadily. It still could go completely either way. Ooh, another kill for Ratatasker. He is starting to get his kills.
Yep, Umoja kind of caught out in a weird spot and then just was basically trying to wait for the Ratatasker to be out in the open so our team might be able to kill. However, Morgan, she's going to go ahead and get that kill, get her to pick up a kill. Nike just barely missing the damage to kill Ymir, and they're going to get wiped up here. That's going to be a big swing in the favor of Yep vibe.
They do be vibing and getting those kills. Good job from their team.
That was a very big mistake. It's now Apollo caught up by a Rat. Apollo might be able to finish this off if he's playing smart. However, he's going to pay for that with his life as well. But I guess at the end of the day, if you're going to get caught out, you might as well bring one down with you.
I'm not sure that this was worth it, though.
No, the lazy back was definitely not worth it. I think he felt like he got caught out, like that maybe he didn't have enough time to run back, so he went for the back up really deep and just got caught. I don't know. Probably Apollo might have been able to really turn the tide of battle over in mid lane as well, looking at how he's top damaged by a pretty solid amount right now.
I mean, this Apollo is not doing as good as the Apollo that was on the I've seen the last game.
No, not as of right now, but
damage is dealt. Don't get me wrong. Look at the stats, but where are the kills?
All the kills are apparently with the Morgan, who has actually, I believe, got 2 of those kills changing into Apollo, which is kind of a.
Oh, that's just sus.
In and of itself is kind of funny, but level difference not really substantial anywhere just yet. Everyone's pretty evened up. Maybe we'll slight level lead on a couple spots. Sunwoo, he's got himself in a kind of a rough spot here. He's going to transform and get himself out.
I mean, at this point, there is no difference in almost any of the aspects. No towers, no gold, no kills. Everything is almost on the same level, and one big team fight can turn it around. Are we gonna see it soon? I'm not even sure. Both teams are playing relatively safe.
Yeah, both teams are kind of. I think they understand the impact of giving up a bad fight right now, so both are picking their fights very carefully. As now, see a little fight going on. People are a little battle over the Scorpion. About to be a 3v4 once Ymir rotates in. Ymir might be rotating around. He's going to get the wall off. He's going to get a stun off here in a second. We're not over there. And there's going to be a kill for Rajin. Umoja's down. That means it's a 2v4 right now. That might mean everyone else over there is getting cleaned on up. Ooh, we're going to see a kill come in for Nike. We're gonna see some double kill for Nike actually. Now, I don't know how they managed to pull that off. It was a 4v3. They got 1 kill and then gave up 2 kills. I don't know exactly how that might have worked out. As Chernobog's also gonna fall here. And now Meatsacks somehow with a huge swing. I'm not even sure. Somehow Ymir came in with a very nice flank, got a nice wall into a stun. Rajin picked up a kill, and then they just Vibes must have just dropped the ball at that after that and just gave up all kill advantage.
Look at that Nike stats, 5-1. Pretty impressive. I kind of did not expect this turnaround, especially with such a slow start, but she is showing what she can do.
Definitely, and I think that we're starting to see she got built on Jotuns, which is definitely an item that you'd like to see. Like, gives you a little bit of that power spike, gives you a little bit the cooldown that you're really needing. However, Nike needs to hit some jukes here, not quite jukey enough, and she's gonna fall to Rajin. Is Rajin really doing a lot more damage, having a lot more impact than what we've seen in the first game? As it looks like Vibes are going to turn their focus over onto the Pyromancer.
And yet we're still back at the square one. Not much difference in kills, not much difference in gold, and on the levels as well. Nothing very drastic. So we're still back there. We're still chilling.
I think that this game's going to ultimately end up being one of those games where everyone's going to get near level 20, everyone's going to get near level full build, and it's just going to be a bloodbath of fights going back and forth until one team finally gets wiped without the other team losing too many people. Both teams playing very methodically, both teams playing very thought out, trying to have certain ganks, certain setups. This is definitely gonna be quite the finals match that we were wanting to see here today.
I mean, that's why it's the final match. Best of the best
are gonna get taken out before he can get up in his ult. That Sun Wu had the largest top that I've ever seen. Now Nike's gonna come in. She's gonna peel off. Nice setup. Sun Wu gonna go up in his ult. He's gonna sit up there and regen enough, just enough. Sun Wu came down. Sun Wu got the tower and he's gonna give Controlling a kill. Nike's not gonna have enough to get the kill finished. Now Nike might be suspect. Controlling might be going for it. The jump, the turnaround, and Controlling dropped the kill. Meanwhile, there's a fight. Go ahead, Gold Fury. Rajin's gonna fall down. Nike's just farming over here. She's not gonna want to go get in the fight. And what a fight that just happened out on the team. Sun Wu jumped too early. He jumped in front of Controlling, and basically Gate told Controlling, hey, push me into the tower so I can get one shot, instead of staying up in his ult long enough to heal.
Man, and then both of the fights was absolutely insane.
And then Meatsacks gonna end up with the Gold Fury kill after I believe they got 2 in the battle for, no, it was only 1 in the battle for the Gold Fury. What a turnaround for Meatsack.
I mean, we know what this team can do and how can they turn things around. Very high damage is coming from many heroes. Like, I don't think we had these numbers in previous games.
No,
so there's a lot of damage exchange.
Last game, Vibes, I believe, literally had all 5 of their players had better damage than all 5 of the players in Meatsacks, which is why that game turned into such an ugly game for Meatsacks. But this game so far, it's been a very back and forth, very fun game to watch, really. As now I want to start seeing some setup for the Fire Giant. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of Farmville going on. There's a lot of posturing, but I really think that Meatsacks is to the point now where they have that slight lead. They have a little bit more items. They have a little bit more to work with. Why not start posturing up on the Fire Giant, saying, hey, come fight us for this, and doing something from there instead of just trying to farm? Because I guess looking at level differences, we see Sun Wukong down a level, maybe a little bit less than a level to Controlling. Nothing serious. jungle difference, actually Nike ahead by 2 levels. Ratatasker struggling a little bit more here in this game than we've seen in past game. Mid lane's evened up, support's evened up, and we see Chernobog, he's ahead by just a small amount as well.
I mean, we're finally seeing some action because finally the goal difference is visible, the kill difference is visible, the levels, all that you just mentioned, things are starting to point out.
As Nike going all in for that Ratatasker, she said, "You're behind, I don't want to see you catch back up." So as now we have a very big team fight with a very nice emotional Sunwoo barely getting out and up into his ult in time. Where did Apollo go? Apollo ulted somewhere. I don't see him anymore.
What kind of team fight was that?
I don't know. There was so
no
much
one died
by everybody, and then everyone was like, "Yep, nope, back up."
Both teams decided to play it safe, take a step back, rethink their movements, their placements, and engaged again.
Apollo's caught out in a bad position here. I don't think he's going to get himself away. A nice Aegis pop. He's going to stay alive because of it. Now, Nike, you're not in very good shape now either. Rajin basically dead. Sunwoo's going to go ahead and get that cleaned up. It's a 1-for-1 right now. Now, what can they do out of it? Sunwoo, you're kind of in a bad spot. Everyone kind of converged on you. Everyone kind of left you out. And so now it'll be a 1-for-2 in favor of Vibes. It's just interesting pullouts by Meatsacks on when to say, "Hey, we're gonna go in," or "Hey, we're gonna back out." I suppose that kind of comes full circle. We talked about earlier about, "Hey, you're low, get out of the fight, get out of the fight," and now we're like, "Hey, you're a little low, but you have enough to try to do something with it." So of course, a little bit of an asterisk next to it. Damned if you do, damned if you don't, right?
Exactly. It's completely two different options on how to work and play your team fights, but I mean, both are sometimes can work out for your team. Both can seem very stupid at the time. It all really depends on the situation and the combination that you have on the ground.
Yep, as Meatsacks gonna go ahead and clean up that pyro. Vibes not as objective focused as we've seen in other games. Vibes typically pretty on trying to get objectives, trying to defend objectives, but not this game so far. So we see roughly a 5k gold lead mounting up in favor of Meatsacks.
Wasn't it Yet Vibes who had the amazing way of getting opponent's team to come to the fire giant and like baiting him?
I believe so, yeah. They basically, every time they spawned up, it didn't matter what was on the map. They said, "Hey, we're gonna stand at the fire giant and you have to respect it." But not really playing like that anymore. And I can't decide if maybe it's just the difference in caliber of teams, maybe it's the difference in composition that they're running. But definitely kind of noticeable, as Apollo is going to be taking a 1v1 in the upper left, 1v2 actually against the Ratatasker and Chernobog. Apollo's going to get himself out, not looking too hot right now. Ymir's wall is going to be down on, it's going to be on cooldown. Apollo's just got to get himself out. He can ult back in, he'll be fine. But the HP's at, it might as well just go ahead and go back. Are they going to try to set up this team fight? Are they going to give up the Primal Fury for free? I don't think they will. I think Apollo's got to be getting up in his ult. He's going to be coming in pretty soon. Oh, never mind. They're going to get off the fight. The Gold Fury. They're going to start taking a fight. Rajin's pretty low. Everyone's pretty low. Ratatask's going to come down. Everyone's just going to be getting annihilated. There's damage going out like hotcakes at a state fair. And now we see 4 down. Controlling not doing too hot. They're going to blink away. Sun Wukong's going to use his blink just to try to catch up. And we're going to go look at the Morgan decoy as the Morgan, the real Morgan, gets a triple kill. What a fight out of Meatsacks right there. Just calculated, shoved them all into a small little area, put so much damage into it, was smart enough with their own lives to keep themselves up. And now Apollo should have a free Primal Fury.
I did think that Mod and Meatsacks could have lost that fight, but they got it in the bag. I'm happy to see that fight going down. It was very juicy, very fiery.
I was definitely a little concerned the way it was looking at the beginning of it, but
it looked bad for Mod and Meatsacks, but they turned it around, and good job.
Yes, I think honestly the Apollo ult being able to go into a little bit of damage to both Chernobog and Ratatasker, then backing and then to ult in and was the key play for him.
Ratatasker, however, has not been able to dominate this game as he was dominating the first semifinal games. I don't know if it's the combination of the other gods in the field or.
See, I think Ratatasker is one of those gods where it's a feast. It's not quite feast or famine, but it's as soon as he died that first time without having much pressure on the map, without having much of a lead, it really puts him in a tough spot because typically when he was dominating, he had a level lead, he had a gold lead, he had items lead. And once you no longer have that on Ratatasker, it's very difficult to actually get a lot of good ganks. It's very difficult to get a lot of that pressure that you would normally have otherwise with one early kill. And I think this is what we see, that the remnants of it is now he's far more useful as a stun bot, as a little bit of burst damage on maybe some squishier characters. But as now, is Yep5 giving up a free fire giant?
They are pushing the lane.
They're going to try to back and get to the Phoenix in time. Apollo's going to ult. I don't think this is a good ult from Apollo. He could get himself in a lot of trouble here if he's not careful. As now he's going to go into what's going to end up being a 1v3. His teammates are running, but they're not that fast. Apollo, wisely, good thing he didn't get caught by the wall. Just about got himself into quite a bit of trouble. As now, Meatsacks keep on stacking that gold lead.
Level differences. 5-kill difference.
Level difference is starting to come in play in certain areas. We see like a Nike looking at 2 levels ahead. Support's starting to stay the same. Everyone on Meatsacks, I think, slightly ahead, but not enough maybe to be that big of a difference. As now, with an Apollo with a fire giant buff, I mean, we all know how quickly things are going to start dropping now. They're going to say, hey, let's go get some towers now. Let's get this game over with. Let's get some more gold lead to go back, and we'll start this team fight again.
Let's get that bread. That's it. That's exactly what is on their minds right now.
Yep5's not in a great position thus far. And honestly, I don't know if we've seen Yep5's really battle back from being down. We've seen them get leads and keep leads. I don't know if we have yet to see them get behind and battle back, as they're going to have to come back from a pretty substantial gold, not super substantial, but pretty good gold lead or gold disadvantage in order to really start battling back into this game. Morgan, they see the Ratatasker. Does Ratatasker know that they see? As he's going to wisely get back. Ratatasker is trying to set himself up for a nice flank. Instead decided to say, no, it's not going to be worth it. As now they're going to be turning their focus onto the last tower on the right side. Actually, no, looks like they're going to be going for the Pyromancer.
Hey, I'm happy I'm seeing Apollo today.
Hey, we got 2 games in a row. I mean,
they're listening. But then we are also getting good games and good plays out of the Apollo. It's not like they picked Apollo just because they can pick Apollo. They actually doing things with Apollo.
Yeah, they're actually playing with the Apollo here, and I think it really comes down to they saw that first game saying, okay, hey, we left a lot of these guys with the high win percentage gods out on the field. We can't do that again. We got to let somebody through, and they said maybe Apollo's we can deal with Apollo enough if we let him through to get the job done. And I think that's kind of the decision that they've come to. As Meatsacks just going to murder through all of the objectives, looking at almost an 11k gold lead right now.
It's almost a done deal. They also have all the towers down.
Well, they do have all the towers with the exception of Phoenix's right now. Fire Giant buff's going to be falling off here somewhat shortly. I'd say we have another 15 to 30 seconds of it. And there's not much you can do. I don't think you have enough time to go and get an actual Phoenix siege. You can maybe just go around, clean up some farm, get this Primal Fury that's about to spawn up with it. And then maybe the plan would be to start setting up for the next Fire Giant spawn. Would probably be the next thing on their list.
I feel like the team that gets the next Fire Giant might finish the game, and it could be either of the teams.
Oh yes, well, the amount of towers they have down. If Yep5 were to steal away a Fire Giant, maybe take a really good team fight at Fire Giant, they might be able to run it down run it down right lane and just completely finish the game off before before Meatsacks had a chance.
It's possible.
There is that ability, yeah. Everyone on Vibes is approaching that, that max build. Everyone's approaching max level. So kind of getting to that point where just a fire giant kill might be the deciding factor on who wins the game. But that also depends on people surviving the fights as well. I think that if you only get out with 3, I don't think it's going to be possible. But if you get out with an entire team and fire giant, I think it's almost guaranteed a done deal. As I gotta give a lot of respect out to my Ymir and Chernobog. They're both building Sunder. I don't think it's working out very well right now, but I appreciate you. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
They have already won your hearts. It doesn't matter how the game ends.
Yeah, they've already won me. They do the Sunders. As Rajin, I don't know about this ult. You might have been better off just running away. Chernobog gonna be melted down pretty harshly right now, as Morgan's gonna change back into Morgan. I was really confused for a second because I said I thought Ratatasker was on the other team, and he is on the other team. However, Nike's gonna give up a kill. This is actually gonna start turning a little bit weird. They're gonna pop the Emoja ult onto Ymir, and that's gonna end up finishing Ymir off. It's gonna be a 2v4 now. Sunwoo up in his ult. Is Apollo alive? Start taking out some Phoenixes. He is. That's probably the play right now. You let Emoji sustain everybody up and get this Phoenix down. Can they siege the Titan without Fire Giant now? They are missing one. They're missing a pretty good damage doer in Nike, but it looks like they're just going to say, hey, we're going to go for it. Ratatasker almost melted down. Controlling going to do a lot of AoE CC, a lot of AoE damage. Sunwoo not looking super healthy. Emoja has the ability to heal. She's not going to do it. Ratatasker and Controlling are going to go down. Woo! And Meatsacks are your GGtoor $500 Smite Conquest Tournament #2 champions. Congratulations to Meatsacks. And what a final series that was.